welcome back to my channel. I'm Una. I read and things, obviously. Okay, today is the first night of Hanukkah. It's December 25th. And there are only 6 days left in the year, 8 days of Hanukkah. And I want to read 300 books this year, and I'm at 293. So I thought it would be fun to see if I can read a book for every night of Hanukkah. Top contenders for my first book to read. This was a terrible intro. I'm sorry. I'm tired. It's been a long week. Top contenders are The Restaurant at the End of the Universe by Douglas Adams. This is a reread. It's a short book. It's a funny book. It's an approachable book. And I just reread the first book in October. So that'd be fun. Also, The Crying of Lot 49 by Thomas Pynchon. This is a short book. It's only like a 6-hour audiobook. It is kind of hard. I can't really do other things while I'm listening to it because I get lost. So that's tough. More difficult. A Master of Jinn. This book is almost 400 pages. The audiobook is 15 hours, but I'm already 40% of the way into it. So yeah, and I really like it. That's where I am. I've been mostly audiobooking, but I do have the physical book up from the library. Also, Woodworm. This is a short book. I want to read this book this year. I got this for the r/fantasy challenge for a book I bought just based on the cover. I bought it based on the cover. Look at how pretty it is. Okay, those are probably my top 4 contenders. If you watch any of my videos, you know that I am a chaos gremlin of a reader. So I really don't know. Oh, also a couple Kindle books. Is my Kindle even here? No. Okay, Silavuk. I have no idea how to pronounce that. I'm really sorry. Ancestor. This is a book by an Indigenous Alaskan author that I'm reading. That's only like 300 pages, set in Alaska in the 1890s. So that could be a contender for the first book I read, or one of the books I read in this challenge. And what else do I have on there? I also have it here for the Wrong Reasons, which I have to read for a book club in January. So those are my options. Is that even 8 books? That's 6 books, right? Maybe 7. So that will get me to my year-end goal if I can read all of those books. Now there are technically other books that I want to read by the end of the year. The 5. I really want to read this book, actually. Maybe I'll try to focus on this next. This is all over the place. This is about the women that were murdered by Jack the Ripper. It's trying to focus on them and their lives. They're often kind of shoved to the side, and Jack the Ripper is like, what a crazy guy. And also these 2 books, which are much chunkier. These are both 400 plus pages, so we'll see. For some other shorter books, I also have these 2 out from the library right now, which are Down Among the Sticks and Bones and The Woman in the Library, which both seem like kind of fun, quick reads. We'll see. I'll keep you updated, but since tonight is the first night of Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah. Happy holidays to those who don't celebrate Hanukkah. I mean, you're missing out, but whatever. And I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. We'll see. Tomorrow I'm hosting a Hanukkah party. So I'm gonna be grating potatoes for a couple hours, grating onions for a while after that, frying for an hour and a bit. So yeah, we will see. But I will see you tomorrow or the day after. Wish me luck. Okay, it's day 2 of Hanukkah, officially. It's like 11 p.m. And have I finished any books? No. That's great. You can see the image of my little tripod. I haven't finished any books, but that's okay. I did host my Hanukkah party tonight, so it was a pretty busy day. I still have some family in town. People are just starting to leave, so I wanted to prioritize spending time with them. I did do some reading, though. Mainly, I read The 5. I have no idea if I mentioned this in the first clip. I'm not going to check. This is so good. This is a book exploring the lives of the 5 canonical victims of Jack the Ripper and basically focusing on them, their lives, kind of the context of their lives. So for example, the first woman, Polly Nichols, it talks a lot about the kind of industry that she grew up in. Her father was a blacksmith who worked for these like kind of printing companies, about the different neighborhoods that she lived in. A lot of these women were unhoused because there was so little housing for people of a low class in London at the time. There was very little, the work was super demanding. It talks about the workhouses. Anyway, it's really good. It's so thorough and so empathetic and just really trying to understand that these women were people and they were in really horrible circumstances. It was thought for a while that they were all sex workers, but really that doesn't seem to be the case. And even if it was, that's fine. That doesn't make it okay that they were murdered, and there were a lot of circumstances that forced people who didn't want to be in sex work into sex work at the time, and that they were going through a lot. I mean, they were sleeping on the streets, all of them except for one. Really beautiful book. I have read just about 80 pages of it, so this book is just a little under 300 pages, I think, because there's notes and annotations and an index at the back, but really well written so far. I will say it's not always my favorite. Sometimes it starts a chapter at a certain time point and then it goes back to catch up to it, and I feel like that's fine every once in a while, but I didn't love that it was every single chapter, because then I would get a little bit confused because there is covering a lot of time. I was talking about the whole course of these women's lives, but a really good book. I also did read the tiniest bit of Master of Gin. I basically just finished the chapter I was in and started the next one. When I was cooking, I was listening to this for a little bit, but then other people started coming in. So I read maybe, I don't know, 4 pages worth of the audiobook, but I do want to focus on this. I want to see if I can do some eyeball reading. I do think this is due back at the library very soon. And I was telling my grandmother about how much I was liking this book, and she put a hold on it at the library, and this is their only copy. So she's next in line for this copy. In terms of next reading, I do think I want to keep focusing on these two because I am really enjoying them both. I really want to read Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. This was given to me by my aunt who's currently in town last year, and I still haven't read it, and I really want to. I love the cover. I think it seems really interesting. It's about this friendship and about video games. At least one of the characters is Jewish, and I did get 4 pages in the other day. I think I read maybe the first 10 pages when I first got it. I've heard really great things. I know it's not for everybody, but I've heard really great things, so these are my top priorities. None of them are super short, which means that maybe I'm not going to make a ton of progress towards my goal of getting to 300 books by the end of the year, plus 1 for the last night of Hanukkah, but I should have more and more time as the days go on, as more people from my family leave town and get back to their normal lives, and I will get back to my reading life. We will see. I also got the audiobook for The Stardust Thief, so that is looking a lot more likely now, but I think I will focus on A Master of Gin. That is day 2. Bye! Hello, it is night 4 of Hanukkah, December 28th. And I finally have another update for you. I have finished 2 books. Again, not so much reading getting done when my family was here, but the last stragglers, the last people who don't live in this area left yesterday. And so I've been doing some reading mostly today. And I finished A Master of Gin. I actually do have the book. It's there. But I read the audio. I listened to the audio. I will say the audio was not the best in that the narrator was like doing a bunch of accents, which were kind of weird. She wasn't that good. Like, she was okay. She was particularly not very good at the British accents, which were only a couple characters, but it kind of stood out. And sometimes if she did an accent for a specific character, it would like carry into the narration a little bit, and it was pretty awkward. Obviously it was good enough that I listened to the whole thing. I really liked it. It's like a historical fantasy mystery. I thought the characters were really nice. I liked the aspects of kind of social commentary and the way it's kind of an alternate history of the world, if like magic was kind of released into the world in the like 1880s. Yeah, if there are more books in the series, I'll read them. I mean, I knew that I would like it because I read the 2 of the 3 preceding short stories. Not a favorite. I think the writing was a little bit off to me in a couple places, but it was a lot of fun. And then I just finished rereading The Restaurant at the End of the Universe. I started this last night. This is the sequel to The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and it's so much fun. It's still, like, these books really do. They make me laugh out loud every time. So there are, I think, 5 that Douglas Adams wrote, and then there's maybe some that other people wrote after he died. I'm not sure how many more I'm gonna keep reading. I'm not sure how many I read the first time I read these, but they're really fun, and I'm so entranced by the concepts, and I find the sense of humor really works for me. Up next, I've kind of shifted some things around in terms of my reading priorities. I do still want to see if I can get to 300 books this year. Obviously it's not that serious. I've still read a lot of great books, but I will say sometimes I feel like I shouldn't be pushing myself to read a ton just for the sake of it, But then if I wasn't doing a challenge like this or thinking that I wanted to read more books before the end of the year, I probably wouldn't have picked this book up for a while, and I had a really fun time with it, and I'm glad I read it. So I don't know. Anyway, books at top of mind. I really want to read tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow before this year ends. It's over 400 pages, so I don't know if that's going to happen, but I really, really do. I did start it a couple days ago, and I'm definitely going to keep going tomorrow. I don't know about the 5. It's sad. It's really good, but it's sad, but I am a quarter of the way into it, so we'll see. I have this physical copy of The Stardust Thief, and I just got the audiobook, so I'm thinking maybe I can make these work and read this book by the end of the year, but it's also kind of a long one, so we'll see. Woodworm is another short one. Maybe this will be kind of next on my docket because it is short. As always, I give way too many options for what I can reasonably do, but I set my sights high, so we will see. I'll see you on the 5th night. Hello, we are just about into night 5 of Hanukkah. We're at the end of day 4, and I just finished Even Though I Knew the End by C.L. Polk. This was not on my list because I kind of forgot I had it on hold at the library, but then I went over and visited my grandmother, and she had picked up some books for me at the library, and this is one of them. This book was only 130 pages, and I was really excited about it, so I just read this all today, and this is basically supernatural fan fiction. I feel like I'm going crazy because I skimmed through some reviews and I didn't see anyone mention it. I looked in the acknowledgements and the author makes no hint, but I feel like the lore in this is pulled directly from the TV show Supernatural. Now, I don't think I've ever revealed this on my channel, but I used to be really into Supernatural, so I know the signs. And this reads okay, there's a part in Supernatural's set in the present day, but there's a part where the two brothers learn that they're descended from these learned magic practitioners, basically, this organization called the Men of Letters, and there's a couple episodes that have these past scenes that are set in the 1940s. This is set in the 1940s. This felt like that era of Supernatural lore, but sapphic and a little noir. There's a mystery element, which most Supernatural episodes are a mystery anyway, which yay, I love it. It's a TV show that's not necessarily strictly good, but it does have a lot of good ideas in it. But this has angels and demons, demon deals. The demon deals are sealed with a kiss. The angels have these very specific qualities that are exactly how angels are in Supernatural. The way they interact with, okay, this is spoilers, but the way they interact with humans, the weapons they have, the way they look when they die, so this is all from Supernatural. This is crazy. Am I going crazy? Has anyone else read this and also watched Supernatural and can back me up on this? Okay, I'm sorry if I spoiled this book. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I really liked Supernatural, so I enjoyed it. I just feel like it's a wild thing to do. Maybe this author just doesn't know any other angel lore other than that is in Supernatural. I mean, that's the tough thing about Supernatural, right, is that it kind of pulls from all these folk tales and religious traditions and just kind of slams them all together. So there are some things that are unique to it, but a lot of the things are not unique to the show. But this feels like it just shares so many of the things that are in the show. Anyway, okay, that's enough. I finished this, which means this is my 3rd book finished for this challenge of 8 books. I think I have 4 books more to reach my reading goal for this year, which is not that bad. Today's the 29th, so I have 2.5 days left. I'm counting this as a half because I feel like it's only 5 p.m. I have a lot more reading time left today. So, books on my mind. I started listening to the Stardust Thief audiobook this morning, and I don't mind it. I'm liking the book. The audiobook itself is not my favorite because the guy narrator does bad women voices, but they're okay. They're just not great. But anyway, I'll probably continue listening to the audiobook mostly because I started physically reading tomorrow, and I'm really liking it. I'm only 40 pages in, And I get why this is not for everyone, but I'm really into it. So I'm really hoping, I can finish at least one of these two chunky boys. I mean, they're not that chunky, but they're both over 400 pages in the next 2 days. And then if I can do one of those, I just need 3 other small books. And I've already talked to you about my options for those. I think Down Among the Sticks and Bones, I will probably read tomorrow. Woodworm, maybe I'll start tonight. We'll see. I think I'm gonna focus on tomorrow because I only read this for like 45 to 50 minutes this morning, and I feel like I was reading it at a pretty good pace and I was pretty into it. So I have a little bit more housework to do today, and I have to make dinner, and so I'll probably listen to The Stardust Thief while I'm doing that, and then once I get to eyeball reading time again, it will be tomorrow. Anyway, even though I knew the end, if you liked Supernatural, or it's fun, I saw a lot of people comparing it to Master of Jinn, which, as you know, I just finished, so that was kind of fun. Or if you liked When Among Crows, they're both urban fantasy set in Chicago. Pretty fun. I like that genre. I love urban fantasy, so yay. Thumbs up for me. It is supernatural fanfiction. See you later. Welcome back to day 5. It's about 4:45 p.m. I believe, and I have just finished Love You Alatka. I don't know if I introed this book, but I started it last night. I read about the first 85 pages, so then I read the other like 230 pages today, and I did enjoy it. It's a Hanukkah contemporary romance, so you know they do fall in love over the 8 days of Hanukkah. But I thought it was very on theme. I just got it from the library yesterday. My grandmother picked it up for me. And so I thought I should read it now. And it was really cute. I think as far as contemporary romance goes, it was pretty good. I liked the characters. I liked the setting. It was like New York in the winter, which that's like my earliest memory of ever going to New York was in December. And there's a very specific feeling, so that's very fun. And I did have some emotional complexity, so that was pretty nice. But yeah, okay. So I believe this is book number 4 done out of 8. So hell yeah, we're halfway there. We're only 1 day behind. This is gonna go, sorry I turned away, but this is gonna go in my finished books section. Return to library books. I will say I'm a little bit behind. I wanted to read another third of both The Stardust Thief and Tomorrow today. So I'm a little bit behind, or I just haven't done those yet, but those will be next on my docket. I have listened to a little bit of The Stardust Thief. I'm maybe 10%, so I only have like another 20% to go before I reach my goal because I want to finish them both tomorrow, which is the last day of December. So I finished those 2, then I just need 1 more, which will be probably one of the books I've already talked to you about. Woodworm, I think, is my top priority, so I'm gonna try to start that today, maybe see if I can get halfway through it. I did have a work meeting today, and now I'm feeling like I can just read a bunch tomorrow and be a little bit behind on work, and that'll be fine. That's about it for day 5. Day 6 will start in about an hour, and then I will hopefully catch up on Stardust Thief and tomorrow. See you then. Hello, it is morning of day 6 of Hanukkah, and I have just finished my 5th book? 6, 7? Yes, my 5th book, I believe, Woodworm by Leila Martinez. This I picked up for r/fantasy bingo for the prompt where you have to buy or read something just based on the cover. So I didn't really know what this was about. I do remember that after I bought it, or maybe right before, just to make sure I wasn't being completely stupid, I knew this was horror. I knew it was about a haunted house and a family of women, but that's about it. And it is, I really enjoyed it. This is about this family in rural Spain and just kind of the suffering and the anger and pain and this conflict between their family and this rich family. So there's a lot about class, there's stuff about gender, about kind of cycles of violence and vengeance, and I apologize if you can hear the dogs barking. I thought it was really good. I will say I got a little confused because I read like the first chapter and a half, and then I put a bookmark in, and then I accidentally reopened to the wrong page. So I skipped like a chapter and I was like, what's going on? Who is this person? But I figured it out, and I really enjoyed it. And also, like, this is such a beautiful cover. So yeah, there we go. Book number 5. Okay, books 6 and 7 to finish out 2025. And then we have 1 to start, or finish out 2024 and 1 to start 2025. I am still listening to The Stardust Thief. I'm about 64% of the way through on page 306, but I mostly listen to the audiobook. I have about 4.5 hours left. I'm a little nervous about finishing it in time because I do have plans tonight, but I'm just gonna keep listening just like all the time when I'm doing other things. I am enjoying this. I feel like it's this, okay, there are a couple of books that fit in this category. This, The Jasmine Throne, I'm trying to think of others. They're just making me question if I really like high fantasy, because I feel like I really want to like high fantasy, but I think I don't. It's not my favorite actually, because these books, like, there's nothing wrong with them. Ember in the Ashes, there's interesting ideas. I like the use of like different kinds of mythology, but I'm just like not that interested. I don't know, I just like, I read them, I'm like, yeah, they're okay. I just really think I love urban fantasy. I love fantasy that's like rooted in our world, but or that has like really, really rich world building. Like, these just don't feel like, I just don't have a sense of the scale of this whole world, because I don't know. Is it like our world and just the place names and the people names are a little different? Or is it just some other world and it doesn't feel real to me? That might be it. Like, I really liked Amina al-Sadafi, Adventures of Amina al-Sadafi, but that's also set in our world. It's like historical fantasy. Love historical fantasy, love urban fantasy. It's just like fantasy where I don't know what the world is like. It just doesn't feel as impactful to me. And then I really want to finish Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, and I'm loving this book. I mean, it's like one of those literary fiction books that's definitely making me uncomfortable sometimes, in like a good way. It's just a lot about these people and their relationships, and it can be so frustrating, but they feel so real. It's making me just feel very connected to these characters. I love that it's about video games. I love that they're in California now. I love California. I don't know, I'm really curious where this is gonna go. I think I'm gonna be really sad. It was making me tear up last night, but I can't get it out of my head. I think this was my dreams. I was just thinking about this all the time. So I really want to finish this. I'm a little nervous I won't be able to quite make it, but I am 250 pages in, which means I only have like 150 left. I think I can do that. Okay. I will update you maybe tonight or maybe tomorrow morning or midday. We will see. But I'm gonna get these 2 books done before the end of 2024. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it to 300 books. Wish me luck. Okay. I sound like I'm about to cry, and that's because I have just been crying. I finished my last 2 books of 2024. That's not why I'm crying, although maybe it'll make me tear up a little bit more. But so I finished the audiobook of The Stardust Thief about, I don't know, a couple hours ago. It was good. It reminded me a lot of A Master of Jinn because of all the Jinn stuff, and Ember in the Ashes. There's also some Jinn stuff in there, and I think those have a more similar kind of setting and tone. But I don't know, I just didn't feel that connected to the characters. There was some intrigue, there was some plot stuff I liked. I didn't not like the characters, but I didn't feel like attached to them. And I could really tell because I finished Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow about 10 minutes ago, and I cried so much reading this book. Like, basically the whole time finishing it, and they're still there. I didn't film myself crying because that felt like maybe a little bit too weird, but here it is, my last book of the year. It's a 5-star, 100%. I love this book. This book is like so crafted. I love the way it's almost like fourth wall breaking, kind of, in that it kind of implies that it's like, it like references all these sources about the characters like after the fact, like interviews and critical responses to their games, and I don't know, it just felt almost like Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell in that way, where like references events that have yet to happen, as if it's looking back on these people's lives, but it's not really pretending to be like a history book. It has these very, very personal moments in it, which I guess is also similar to Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. Basically, for whatever reason, those two share a style, and it's a style I adore. I felt so invested in these characters and so connected to them, and like I was there experiencing their emotions with them. Okay, maybe this is a little too personal. It's gonna make me cry, but there's a lot about grief and loss and love, and it was just beautiful. I'm gonna call it here because I don't really want to cry on camera, But yeah, I love this book, and I will read one more book tomorrow for the 8th day of Hanukkah. But we're officially caught up, and I reached my crazy goal for 2024 of reading 300 books, which is insane. To be fair, some of them I did read a couple short stories, I did read some manga and graphic novels and comics. So anyway, it's not 300, 500 page books or even 300 page books, but wow, it's been a crazy year, man. Okay, I'm going to get myself together. I'm going to get packed and ready for tonight to celebrate the new year with some friends, and I will see you tomorrow. Hello, it is day 8 of Hanukkah. I did not update you yesterday because I was kind of just taking the day off of not reading entirely, but of most things. I have finished my 8th and final book for this video, which was The Wood at Midwinter. This is like basically a short story by Susanna Clarke that does take place in the Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell universe. It's also kind of a Christmas story. I think I liked it. I think it's interesting. I mean, I think like a lot of people probably, it was a little short, a little less substantial than maybe I would have preferred. I mean, I can't complain too much because I haven't read Piranesi. I want to read more Susanna Clarke, but I have more Susanna Clarke to read. But the illustrations are really, really beautiful, and I got a really nice, I mean, this came out in October of this year. This edition is really, really beautiful. And it's, I mean, as always, really cool ideas. So yeah, I enjoyed it. That is my first book read for 2025. A decent note to start on. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it comes together into something not too long. I did start editing it, and wow, do I repeat myself a lot. And wow, are there some books that I really thought I was gonna get to that I did not. I will hopefully see you soon. Again, I still have some end of year content to make, my favorite books of the year, my 2025 reading goals, and then we'll be back to just your average, regularly scheduled booktubing. So yeah, thanks again for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.